Hey everybody, Happy New Year. 2024 was a big year for Dead Ahead, which had a whole lot of new content added, so I wanted to release my top 10 favorite additions made to this game this year. Number 10. Kicking things off, we have supply item buffs. Barrel damage got buffed and its durability was increased. Nitro Chank does damage, Med Pack was overhauled, and Molotov still sucks despite the numerous buffs it received. Number 9. Location 9. This was the addition we had been waiting for years, and while the reception has been lukewarm, there's no denying the fact that Moby Rate finally moving ahead with the game is nothing short of a good thing. At number 8, we have the new weather effects that got added. Snowstorm, Heatwave, and Toxic Fog all got added this year. Of the three, I think I like Toxic Fog the most for its effect, but Snowstorm for how cool it looks. Honestly though, they're all really cool, except for Rain. Rain sucks. Number 7. New enemies. Let's face it, the game would be boring if Location 9 was just more Crank, Putrid, and Insectoids. Escapee has been notorious for her viciousness, but in small numbers, I don't think she's too bad. I like the new Marauder Brute, but my favorites this year were zombies that got added last summer, such as the Spider Limb and Hypnotist. Number 6 is the overhaul to Skirmish mode. This made it from a one-round matchup to the best 2 out of 3 style of play it is now. This was done in an attempt to break up the monotony of PvP, which previously was mostly people just pitting their Spec Ops military and police zoo teams against each other. PvP can be difficult to balance, and while I think some competitive diversity still needs to be added, I do think that new teams like the Marines making their PvP debut was a good thing. At number 5, we have the expansion made to the locations. Last summer, we got a huge update where locations 2 through 7 each received an enormous update, and then later we got location 8 expanded on as well. While the expansion for locations 2 to 7 didn't have as much of an impact for endgame players, it was still fun to take your teams back to these areas to complete, and the new challenge mission overhaul has been a lot of fun so far. Of the bunch, my personal favorite has been the dockyard areas in Location 4, especially Mission 24, where I go to complete the Slob Zombie quest when it pops up. As for Location 8, I think this was probably everyone's favorite. It had new environments and just the right amount of challenge where it was hard but not impossible for the average player. Snowstorm was a great addition that didn't feel too underwhelming but not too punishing either. Lastly, being able to see what's beyond the cephalopod boss was also interesting in a story-driven sense, and I loved the teaser for what was to come by having your team head up north. Number 4. New item sets. With the most recent Christmas update, we finally got some new sets to use, and upon release I could already tell that I was going to like the Carbon set. These had definitely been long awaited for by many, and I don't think they disappointed. Number 3, Metro got added, which was a whole new mode of gameplay. It was a big update for the game, and although there's not much added in terms of scenery, it's still been a lot of fun and highly competitive. For endgame players with nothing else to do, I think this is the one part of the game that keeps them coming back to play. Personally, this mode has forced me to rethink builds and itemization more so than any other. It's hard to believe that at one point, the pre-damage buff, I thought my mechanic hitting for 650 was good enough since it could one-shot insectoids, and that's all I really expected of him. At number 2, we got the new skins that got added this year, of which we saw a ton of new skins, which is amazing. Truth be told, the fact that so many came from user contributions has nearly inspired me to go and design one of my own. I'm not sure what I'd like to see, maybe a prisoner cashier or a jailer's soldier. Those would be my go-to picks right now, or anything else that would be completely broken. That aside though, while the new skins this year have all been a lot of fun to play around with, none have made as much of an impact as Montag has. This guy single-handedly changed an entire team from zero to hero, and he's now a staple on the team itself. There's no use in playing with a Patriots team unless you have this guy unlocked and ready to go. A distant second to Montag would be SWAT's Firestarter skin, who also brought some much needed firepower to the emergency team this year. At the time, I honestly didn't give it much thought, because for a while, for the longest time, in order to have 5 for 5 faction bonuses with emergency, you had to use units like Lionheart and Firefighter. But now with new additions, you don't need to use those units anymore if you want a full team for this faction. Lastly, the bronze medal for 2024 added skins, I think, would go to Lester's Jailer skin. The addition of a strong shotgunner was exactly what they needed, and I think this guy has propelled Jailers to become a great faction to use, especially in light of the prep time nerf to watches. In terms of strict aesthetic design, I've really liked the look of Ma Rebecca, Pilot, and Bastion, but honestly, major props to everyone who designed the skins this year because they all look great. At number 1, my favorite addition this year was the debut of the Prisoners team. Yes, even though technically the first member came out in 2023, the team didn't make its actual release until March of 2024 when Sonia Parker and Prisoner were released. And although I did make a video earlier this year criticizing the team's exclusivity, the points of which I still stand by, I have to admit I've had more fun playing these guys than any other faction. And that in turn was what really motivated me to explore and collect all units and skins in the game. So that was my top 10 list for 2024. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one.